Hey guys, what is up? This is Keisha. Welcome back to my channel. It's so good to see you all today. On today, I wanted to talk about how to survive this new administration. A lot of people, I have my notes right here on my computer, so if you see me looking away, that's what I'm doing. It's so weird because coming into the new year, I was super excited. I was so happy. I was just content, right? I was satisfied. However, as time went on, like, now don't get it twisted now. I'm still like low-key chill, but it's like everybody else is in a frenzy. And they're calling me and they're letting me know about the frenzy that they are in. So because of that, I just decided, you know what, let me go ahead and talk about some survival tips for this new administration. Because guess what? If you deal with anxiety, if you deal with depression, if you deal with issues with managing stress, right? Those things are not going to get better unless you intentionally make sure that you are practicing your self-care, unless you intentionally make sure you're doing certain things to make sure you don't get caught up in all the nuances and the chaos and the confusion and the, constant working on of your mind, right? So nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm gonna stop rambling. The first thing I would suggest to do in order to survive this administration is to unplug. We are in the time where we are in the age of where people feel as if they need to always be in the loop. I'll say this, there is nothing wrong with being in the loop or being in the know, but I would like to know is, what is being in the know consistently and constantly going to do for you if you're already prone to anxiety, if you're already prone to depression, like if you're already prone to excess stress, right? If you're already at a heightened level of stress, like, so you constantly listening to podcasts, or you constantly listening to all types of media, whether that's social media on these apps, whether that's, your television, your radio programs, no matter what it is, if you are always in the loop and always in the know, and you are more prone for stress, anxiety, stress, and depression, you need to fall back. You need to fall back. This is going to make you more stressed. It's going to make you more anxious. It's going to make you more depressed. It's going to make you more sad. Look, I get it. I understand. I empathize with people, and I sympathize with people that have things or that are directly affected in this moment. But understand this, we are all going to be affected in some type of way, because this within itself is a form of change. Me personally, I do not like change. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. However, there is so much opportunity in change. There is so much opportunity for growth. There is opportunity for development. There is opportunity for the ability to be able to mature. Even there are some people that feel as if this is a very chaotic time, and I would not disagree. However, I would like to say that even in this chaotic time, this is the opportunity for you to step up, for you to showcase your skills and your skill sets, or what have you, your gifts and your talents, for you to fully show up and operate authentically as you are, to be able to be a positive contributor to the world. A lot of us are just existing. We're not living, y'all. We're not contributing a lot more than what we could be. It could be simple as you volunteering at your local elementary school, helping a kid read. You have no idea. Okay, that's simple, but then that's not simple. That's major, right? Because you are taking time out of your day and you're impartating and you're teaching somebody how to read, and that is a lifelong skill. And guess what? That person that you're impartating into, they literally could be a world changer. But guess what? That isn't happening because you're not operating off of your gifts. You're not operating off of your talent. You're not being a good steward of your time because you are immersed in media. That's what gonna tell you the latest negative news in like 2.5 seconds. And so what? So for you to go pop another pill, and guess what? For it not to work, because you even more stressed, you even more anxious, you even more depressed. Like, for real, come on, y'all. So that would be my first tip. My second tip to you is going to be prayer and meditation. Yes. So my second tip to surviving this administration is prayer and meditation. Now, many of you may not know I am a Christian author. I write books, ebooks, audiobooks. I sometimes create really cool inspirational t-shirts to help pull young women from the emotional wreckage caused by the wears and the tears of life, particularly in the areas of low self-esteem, low confidence, depression, and anxiety and parental rejection. Okay, so those are the areas in which I create my books. And so by me being a Christian author, of course, I am a Christian. I believe in the precepts of Christ. And so with that being said, if you do not take time out of your busy schedule to pray, it doesn't matter what your it doesn't matter who you believe in. You have to do whatever works for you. But that's just what has worked for me. But y'all, we have to get to that point and that place in which we quiet our mind. We have to silence our mind. We have to get really still. We have to get quiet. We have to drown out all of the noise. We have to step away from social media. We have to step away from the podcast. We have to step away from the radio programs. We have to step away from Netflixing and chilling, right? Or Disney Plus or Hulu or Amazon Prime or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to step away from those things that are taking our full and undivided attention, and so we can be able to hear and know the voice of God and be able to decipher his voice from all of these other chaotic voices we have going on, right? You have to be able to get still and silent. And when you silence your mind, when you quiet your mind, it's going to be very chaotic and noisy, like the outside world when you first start. But the more that you do it, the more that you train yourself, the better off you're going to be able to know the voice of God versus your own conscience, your own voices, or the voices that you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may hear negative voices, people from your past saying this or saying that. And it's just sticking around, hanging around in there as a reminder or something like that. You know what I mean? So quiet your mind, get still, get silent, and make prayer and meditation a part of your daily life. And because I am a Christian, I will tell you that Christ has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And everything we see going on out here, a lot of the stuff that many of us are partaking in is not giving us a peace of mind, y'all. As a matter of fact, it may leave your little mind in pieces, broken pieces. And that's not his will for any of our lives, is to be scatterbrained and all over the place. But in order to survive this new administration, you're going to have to make prayer and meditation a part of your life, okay? Make prayer and meditation a part of your life. And even beyond the administration, y'all, this is something that we need to be doing anyway. I feel like this administration, a lot of people been complaining, but this gonna be real good for some folks. It's gonna be real good. Hear me good and read between the lines. This gonna be real good for some folks. It's gonna be real good. And I want us to be able to see the opportunity in all of the mess and the messiness and the chaoticness and the divisiveness. I want us to be able to see that. But the only way you're going to be able to see that is it's going to have to be a revelatory moment that usually only takes place, not only, but usually sometimes can better take place when you quiet your mind and when you are in prayer meditation, okay? All right, so let's move on. With that being said, I'm going to close out on point number 2 and move on to point number 3. Point number 3, gratitude, 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 gratitude. OMG, y'all already know how I feel about gratitude. It is my own personal belief that gratitude changes the attitude. And when your attitude change, your altitude will change. You will go higher in life. You will go further in life when you learn to be grateful for what you have. When you learn to be grateful, that thing that you desire will chase you down, knock you in your head, and wrap you up and just be all over you. Just be hovering. It's just waiting to get to you. But a lot of us have so many type of spiritual blockages because we're not grateful for what we already have. When you find, I'm going to say this much. When you find somebody who is not on side the road, they're not out there in their car, they have people that love them. And we're going to talk about that more later in future videos because that's a big thing, because loneliness is a big thing right now. But when you find somebody also who have a roof over their head, you got running water, you got a place to sleep, you got a place to crash, you got a job, you have income, you have a vehicle, you have your health. Even if you have health challenges, you have your health. You still on this side of the sun. When you find somebody that's constantly finding something to complain about, baby, let me tell you something. You better find an exit and use it. You better find an exit and use it. And let me just say, if you are that person who is not being grateful for what they have, let me implore you, let me encourage you to make sure that you are also, when you are in your prayer meditation, I did that in point number 2. When you are in your prayer meditation, make sure that you are practicing gratitude every single day. Tell God what you're thankful for. Today, I'm thankful that I have a roof over my head. I'm thankful that I have lights. I'm thankful that I have indoor plumbing. I'm thankful that I have running water, right? I'm thankful that I have income to be able to take care of myself. Come on, y'all. We're not gonna toy with it. When you do this every single day, when you practice gratitude every single day, this is where the mental shift happens. This is when a person can go from being negative to optimistic. They can go from being pessimistic to optimistic. They can go from being negative to positive. I know because I've done it. I know because I've done it. Let me tell you something. Let me talk about gratitude. Let's talk about that for a second. I had this friend girl of mine. She's a friend of the family. And I remember I was at a very, very, very low place in my life. This was back in, I want to say 2012. It was a year after we had this really big tornado. And if you don't know, the South is very prone for tornadoes, just like certain parts of the South is prone for hurricanes because we live close to the water. Anyhow, and it's very humid down here too. But anyway, I was in the tornado, and our family home got damaged, so I had to move with my sister. And I remember she was over there visiting, and you know, just talking, chit-chatting or whatever, and things of that nature. And me being cynical and having clapped back, I was just, you know, I was giving my rebuttal or whatever. And I will never, ever forget, as long as I live, hopefully, that girl looked over at me, because we was on opposite sides of the living room. But anyway, she looked over there at me, and she said, you know what? You are so negative. Everything that comes out of your mouth is negative. Are you that miserable that you have nothing good to say? Are you that miserable? And when I tell you, my feelings was hurt at first, but guess what? I ended up giving that family friend a thank you card. I gave her a thank you card later on down the line. It wasn't immediately, but sometime after that, I gave that family member a thank you card. And I told her, I said, I want to tell you thank you so much for loving me enough to check me. Thank you so much for loving me to tell me the truth, even when I didn't want to hear the truth. Even when, you know, I mean, other people said this or hinted at it or would suggest, hey, you need to start listening to motivational stuff, yada, yada. They would say, like, you need to listen to, like, motivational stuff, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, people don't take hints well. You just need to tell them directly, honey, and be through with that. And worry about them feelings later. But anyhow, I ended up giving her a thank you card. Thank you so much for telling me the truth. Thank you for telling me that I was negative. Thank you for telling me that I was being a negative Nancy. Thank you for telling me I was being a Debbie Downer. Thank you for telling me that I was pessimistic. Thank you for telling me that everything came out of my mouth sounded like misery. Thank you so much for checking me. Because had it not been for you, I wouldn't have never woke up out of that slumber of misery that I was in. Thank you. And I genuinely meant that. It wasn't nothing else to go with that. I was so appreciative to her for being honest with me. And it was from that point I started to focus on listening to positive motivational tracks. It was at that point that I had started making gratitude journaling. I learned about gratitude journaling. And how to like shift your mindset, right? And so it was at that point that I learned about gratitude journaling, and I started to practice gratitude. I started to tell God every day. And writing is my superpower. I love writing, but I ended up every single day writing down something that I was thankful for, something that I was grateful for. And when I started to do that, my life started to change drastically. My mindset started to shift drastically, because it is in gratitude, the mental shift that is required, that perspective change that is needed can kick in. It almost is like something activates inside of you, right? So at least that was my experience. And so, and it's like now, I just, what? I make gratitude journaling a regular part of my day. I fill my other one up. This is my new one. So I have to get started working in this one. But every single day, trust me, every single day, I am writing what I am grateful for, what I am thankful for. Because whether we want to believe it or not, things could always be worse. Whether we want to believe it or not, Things in our life can always be worse. But in order for that good and that great and that better day to get to you, you got to first be able to willing to be humble enough to receive it, so it can hunt you down and chase you wherever you stand. It can find you. It can sift through all of that. It don't have to sift through it, because it's an easy one-way street to get to you, right? Because you don't have all of that messiness of ungratefulness, envy, jealousy, rage, unforgiveness, all of these negative and misery, all of these negative and toxic emotions that all humans struggle with. A lot of them ain't gonna admit that they have dealt with it, but baby, we all got it. We all have that ability to operate in them. In that. It just depends on which beast you gonna feed the most. You gonna feed that flesh, or you gonna feed your spirit, man. It just depends. But gratitude is going to be very necessary. Being thankful and grateful for what you have is going to be very necessary going forth in life, and as well in this administration. Next, well, actually, my last point. Be in social settings. In order to survive this new administration, being in social settings is going to be important. It is important. Whether it's a new administration or not, y'all, it is just so important to be in social settings. And when I say social settings, baby, I ain't talking about social media. I'm talking about traditional social settings. Because, y'all, we need each other. We need each other. We were designed not to be alone. We were not made nor created to be alone. It is not good for man to be alone. It is not good for humans to be alone. Y'all, we are designed and created for fellowship. We are designed and created for community. And that is one of the things most that I hate about Western culture. It teaches you the independence of I. It teaches you this ideology of I, the ideology of self. I am so over self. Like, I'm into self-care, but baby, the ideology of self is real out here. We need each other, and we need each other because that's just how we work. That's how we're wired. We're wired to, I hate to use the word feed off of each other, but sometimes you're not always strong. Sometimes you sad, and then sometimes it's just it's so good for your endorphins. It's so good for it's studies on this stuff on the Mayo Clinic. I remember reading this for my new book that I have coming out, How to Spot a Counterfeit Friend. And I was looking up and researching the benefits of having authentic friendship. What are some of the benefits of having friendships? And y'all, when you are in social settings, and when you have real authentic relationships, when you're not in transactional, hello somebody, when you are not in transactional relationships, but when you are connected to people who truly care for you and want to be in your life for who you are and not for what they can get, you live longer. Your blood pressure is often lower. You often have you are less likely to be suffer from loneliness. Loneliness is an absolute epidemic worldwide, just like ischemic heart disease and depression, y'all. We're going to talk about that as time goes on. You also, you're more positive. You have a stronger will to go forth, mingle, live, all these type of things. There are so many good things that comes from having relationships and authentic friendships with other people, y'all. And in order to survive life, in order to survive this new administration, you're going to need authentic relationships. You're going to need authentic friendships. Y'all, that is so freaking important. I cannot express to you how important it is to have real, authentic people around you. Now, I get it. You know, sometimes we can get a little bit jaded because when we've been burnt a couple of times, we just like, you know, I'm not trusting this person. I'm not trusting that person. Again, I know we can get jaded, but when somebody hurts you, when somebody hurts your feelings, when somebody betrays you, when somebody stabs you in your back, when somebody, you know, flips script on you, I'll say this much. That's a painful feeling. That's a painful feeling. That's not a good feeling. I have been through that a couple times. Not just from friends. I've been through that, hell, even with family. If we honest, if we all being honest, a lot of y'all got some betrayal stories too. But I don't want us to stay there. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit deeper, and well, a whole heck of a lot deeper in my new book that's coming out, How to Spot a Counterfeit Friend, and them family members ain't far behind, honey. Okay, and it ain't out the full title. I just put that little extra stank on there. But y'all, we need friendships. And I'm going to talk about that in depth of why it's so important that you don't stay in a place of hurt. You don't stay in a place of being guarded. You don't stay in a place of not forgiving. Because guess what? That blessing, that desire, your heart's desire, that breakthrough that you're looking for, that you've been praying for, or you even want, or you feel like you deserve, you can't get it because you got all of those negative emotions tied to something that happened 15 years ago. Some of y'all stuff real fresh. Some of y'all betrayals real fresh. Some of y'all keep getting betrayed by the same folks. When people show you who they are, believe it's the first time go round. Believe them the first time. I'm not saying don't forgive them, but know what they are capable of. Know okay, well, we making up, but I know you got the propensity to do X, Y, and Z. But we ain't gonna drag them by the edges too much, honey. We gonna drag them in the book. Cause when I tell y'all, if y'all ain't on my emailing list, y'all might want to sign up for the newsletter to get this new book that I got coming out, baby. Cause we gonna No, I'm keeping it clean, classy, and cute, but we just gonna tell the truth and shame the devil. That's what we gonna do in that book. So if you're not on the newsletter, make sure that you sign up for my free newsletter at Words That Restore at on my website, wordsthatrestore.com, wordsthatrestore.com. If you are not on my newsletter, you're gonna want to be on that newsletter, because a lot of y'all been around the same amount 45 million times with the same people that's getting ran over, ran through, and ran up on by these counterfeit friends and family members. So if you're not on my mailing list, please get on that mailing list, because only the people on the mailing list, they're going to have first dibs at this book. At this point in time, I'm not sure where all I am going to be selling this book, because I've had some issues in the past. I'll talk about that in great detail on my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Okay, I'll close with this. Social setting. Having a hobby is also important in being in a social setting. Have a hobby. A lot of y'all work home church, work home stove, work home stove, work home mama house, work home grandmama house, work home church, work home, homework, church, stove. That's it. And then you talking about, oh, I can't meet nobody. You can't meet nobody because you got the same routine. You will never, ever meet nobody. ever meet nobody if you don't switch up your routine. Y'all, just like time is changing. We need to change some of our routines. We need to change some of our habits, like real talk. And when I say that, I am looking into this camera and I am talking to me as well. I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself as well. So this is motivation for me. Y'all just benefit from it. All right, so let's make sure that we are practicing in some type of hobby. We are practicing in some type of activities. Make sure that you are in a traditional social setting outside of social media, in which you have the opportunity to meet new people. You have the opportunity to have you some friendship groups. At least you're able, whether it's your church group or whatever the case may be, you have the opportunity to fellowship with people who have some commonality, like mine, on that particular hobby or activity or belief system, okay? So make sure that you are definitely being in a traditional social setting in order to survive this new administration. Matter of fact, we can throw all that away. You gonna need that to survive in life. In closing, do not let who is in authority determine whether you have joy, happiness, peace, a sound mind, sleep good at night. We got to stop giving away our power, y'all.